Welcome to the deep dive.
Okay, so you've given some really interesting sources today. We're looking at uh, Candles Scandinavia AB,
That's right.
a company that seems to be mixing, well, high-tech automation with this deep sustainability focus, and in the candle industry of all places.
Exactly. It's kind of unexpected. So our mission today really is to unpack the key takeaways from their latest annual report, the 2024-2025 one.
Okay.
We'll be focusing on this huge strategic investment they made, the financial pivot, and how they're expanding their market reach.
Right, and just to set the stage quickly, their core identity, it seems, is being a top European supplier for private label-scented candles, for other brands.
And room fragrances, too.
Ah, yes. And the kicker is they use 100% plant-based wax, biodegradable from Swedish rapeseed, and they supply some really high-profile names: H&M, Rituals, Allens.
Big players. Which brings us straight to the context, right?
Yeah,
Why this focus? Well, the candle market overwhelmingly still runs on paraffin wax.
which is fossil fuel-based. Precisely. It's derived from petroleum. So Candles Scandinavia, from the get-go, positioned themselves as the sustainable alternative.
So is the market actually ready for that? I mean, candles feel pretty traditional,
Well, that's what's interesting. The data in the report suggests a real shift. Sustainability isn't just a buzzword anymore, it's a full-blown megatrend.
especially with younger consumers.
Exactly. Gen Z, millennials, their buying habits are clearly showing a preference for more sustainable, ethical products. The report makes that very clear.
So even if the overall candle market isn't, say, exploding, there's a specific demand growing within it.
That's the key insight. The market itself might be slow-moving overall, but the demand for sustainable options is really high. And they have this one statistic that just jumps
Oh,
out.
yeah? What's that?
Get this. 83% of candle customers said they'd consider paying more for candles made from sustainable materials.
83%. Wow. Okay, so that's basically a green light from the consumer, isn't it?
It really is. It tells the company, look, if you can make this work at scale and maintain quality, we're willing to pay a premium. It tackles that age-old problem.
Yeah.
How do you make sustainability profitable?
And Candles Scandinavia clearly thinks they've cracked it.
Well, they claim to be about 3 to 4 years ahead of their competitors in Europe,
How so?
because they figured out how to source this 100% natural vegetable wax, the rapeseed stuff, and produce scented candles with it cost-effectively and, crucially, at a large scale.
The scale is the key.
It's always the key in manufacturing, especially for private label. And that ability to deliver volume, well, that really paved the way for the huge strategic shift we saw this past year.
Right, the high-tech transformation,
Yeah.
the robots.
Yeah.
Let's get into that because the sources made a big deal of it.
Oh, absolutely. This was their biggest strategic investment ever. During 2024-2025, they put in this brand new, highly automated production line.
I saw the pictures. It looks intense.
It really does. Like you said, less cozy candle workshop, more like a car factory or something. We're talking 13 ABB robots.
13. Doing what exactly?
Handling packing, handling production flow. Pretty much automating huge chunks of the process.
So what did that actually do for them immediately, besides looking cool?
Yeah. Well, the main thing is capacity. A massive increase. They describe it as multifolded compared to before.
Multifolded, that's significant.
It's huge for their business model. It means they can go to these big clients like H&M and say, yeah, we can scale up with you for years to come, no problem. No need for another huge investment right away. They've built the platform for growth.
Okay, but installing 13 robots and changing your whole production line,
Yeah.
that can't have been seamless or cheap. The report mentions costs, right?
It does, and they're quite open about it. There were short-term costs associated with the transition, about 12 million Swedish krona, so 12 MSEK in one-off costs.
12 million. What was that mostly for?
It was mainly things like temporary staffing, running the old manual lines at the same time while the new system was being implemented and dialed in. You know, the usual friction when you make such a massive change.
So unavoidable pain for future gain, essentially.
That's how they frame it, an investment in future efficiency. And you see the payoff almost immediately, though it involved a tough decision right after the year ended.
You mean the workforce changes?
Exactly. In June 2025, so just after this reporting period, they announced they were reducing the production workforce
How many people?
by 25 employees and ending temporary contracts as well. It was a direct result of the efficiency gains from the new automated line.
That's quite a reduction. But from a purely numbers perspective, what's the impact?
Well, the anticipated annual savings from that reduction are around 13 MSEK.
13 million saved per year. Yes.
So the one-off cost is almost immediately offset by the ongoing annual savings. It shows a really sharp focus on lean manufacturing and leveraging that automation investment for financial stability.
Okay, that makes sense. It's
Mhm.
a tough calculation, but you can see the logic.
Yeah.
So this efficiency drive, combined with the focus on sustainability, how did it all translate to the bottom line for the full year 2024-2025,
Mm.
especially compared to the year before?
Right, let's look at the financials. The turnaround is quite dramatic. Total revenues went up, but not massively, to about 192 million SEK from 181 million the year before.
Okay, modest growth on the top line.
Yeah, but the real story is in the profitability. That's where the strategic changes really bite.
Let's start with EBITDA earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. How did that look?
Huge swing. They went from a loss of about 4.3 million SEK in 2023-2024 to a positive 5.2 million SEK this year.
Wow, okay, so operationally, before accounting for the big depreciation hit from the robots, they were back in the black.
Exactly. It shows the core operation making and selling candles became profitable thanks to better cost control and, likely, better margins driven by that sustainable edge.
And what about after depreciation? EBIT earnings before interest and taxes.
That also turned positive. They reported an EBIT of almost 2 million SEK,
Compared to?
compared to a loss of over 11 million SEK the previous year.
Okay, so that's a major improvement. From an 11 million loss to a 2 million profit, that really shows the financial bleeding stopped and the heavy investment is starting to pay off, not just drain cash.
Definitely. It demonstrates increased stability, and the positive momentum really seemed to pick up towards the end of the year.
Yet, tell me about Q4, that period from January to April 2025.
Q4 was strong, really strong. Revenue grew 27% compared to the same quarter the previous year, hitting about 46.5 million SEK.
27% growth in one quarter.
Nice. And even better, their adjusted operating profit EBIT for just that quarter was 8.1 million SEK.
8 million profit in Q4 alone.
Yeah, compared to a negative result in Q4 the year before. So you can really see that new automated platform hitting its stride, becoming efficient and profitable.
And this wasn't just about the robots, was it? You mentioned they also simplified the business. That Swedish word.
Renodla. Yeah, it means to streamline or purify. They made a big strategic decision and they fully executed it, getting out of the distribution side of the business,
That involved.
exiting their brands and home party divisions. They decided to focus completely 100% on the core strength, scalable private label production of these environmentally friendly scented products.
Why shed those other parts if they were bringing in some revenue?
Complexity and margin, mostly. Distribution involves managing other brands, different logistics, often lower margins. It just didn't fit with the new focus on hyper-efficient, large-scale manufacturing.
So getting rid of distractions.
Pretty much. To get the maximum leverage from that huge automation investment, they needed laser focus. Become the best possible B2B sustainable scent manufacturer. And that focus seems to be paying off in terms of new business.
Right, because the financials look better, but the real proof is whether customers are buying into this new setup, isn't it? Are they winning contracts?
Yes, and that's the validation piece. The report highlights a series of major new orders they secured, especially in the latter part of the year, showing the new cost structure and capacity are attractive.
Okay, give me the highlights. Where are they winning?
Well, a big one was breaking into the British market in a major way. That happened around March 2025.
The UK. How big was that deal?
Initial order value was around 11 million SEK, but the potential they mention is over 50 million SEK annually from this one customer.
50 million, that's huge. That's a serious foothold in the UK market.
It absolutely is, and it signals that this Swedish-made natural wax product can compete and win against potentially cheaper, less sustainable options already established there.
What else? Any other big wins?
Yeah, also in March, they landed a deal with a new European perfume company.
A perfume company.
Interesting.
Yeah, and for this client, scented candles were actually a new product category they were adding. The initial order was about 3.5 million SEK, but they expect it to grow to around 10 million annually. So Candles Scandinavia is actually helping brands expand their product lines into candles because they make it easy and sustainable.
That seems to be the case. It shows their turnkey manufacturing solution is really appealing. Plus, they secured another European customer order around the same time, worth about 4 million SEK.
Okay, so momentum building across Europe.
Definitely. And even after the reporting period closed in May 2025, they announced another win, a new Nordic customer. Order value around 4 million SEK. And that covered candles, room fragrances, and room spray.
So the contracts seem to confirm that the strategy automation plus sustainability plus focus is working in the real world. It's attracting significant international business.
It really looks like it. The market is voting with its purchase orders.
Before we wrap up, there were a couple of quick organizational points mentioned too, weren't there? About leadership.
Yeah, just briefly, they brought back Martin Friedel in October 2024. He's now CFO, COO, and Vice VD, so a key leadership reinforcement.
Okay, strengthening the management team.
Right. And externally, something quite significant. The CEO was appointed chairman of the ECMA.
The European Candle Manufacturers Association.
Exactly. That's not just a nice title. It puts the company right at the center of industry discussions, regulations, and standards, especially around sustainability across Europe. They're influencing the rules they're already excelling at.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What we've seen in this deep dive into Candles Scandinavia's 2024-2025 report is, well, it's a story of a pretty gutsy strategic bet, isn't it?
It really is. They gambled big on automation, those 13 robots, and on radically streamlining the business, that whole Renadla thing.
They took some short-term pain, the 12 million SEK transition cost, the difficult decision on workforce reduction.
But they achieved significant operational leverage almost immediately. That turnaround to profitability, especially in EBIT, and the subsequent annual savings prove the mechanics worked.
And crucially, the market validated it. Those big new contracts, particularly breaking into the UK and attracting new types of European clients, show that their model of automated, sustainable B2B manufacturing has real appeal.
It's a fascinating example of using technology and a clear ethical stance to kind of reinvent a very traditional industry. But there's one more thing. A final thought from the report that points to the future.
Oh, what's that?
Well, they've absolutely nailed the B2B private label model now, it seems. Huge capacity, sustainable edge, proven results.
Right.
However, they explicitly state in the report that they have a long-term ambition. They want to build their own portfolio of brands.
So moving beyond just making products for other companies like H&M or Rituals.
Exactly. To become a brand owner themselves, likely leveraging all that efficient production capacity they've built.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is. So the provocative thought for you, the listener, thinking about market dynamics is this. What happens next? What happens when a company that has mastered ultra-efficient, automated, sustainable production decides to launch its own consumer brands?
Their cost base would be potentially much lower than existing luxury brands.
Precisely. How could that disrupt the existing high-end home scent market, which often relies on high margins? That planned move into B2C using their industrial B2B muscle. That really feels like the next big chapter for Candles Scandinavia. That's the space to watch.